Hannah-Jones has accepted a 5-year contract with the UNC's journalist school. We reached out to her and have not heard back. The chairman of the UNC Board of Trustees told CBS News that the board has taken no action and made no decision concerning her employment or tenure.
First on CBS This Morning, best-selling author, that's Ta-Nehisi Coates, joins us to discuss the tenure controversy and the larger debate about the 1619 Project and how we teach U.S. history in this country. Good morning to you, Ta-Nehisi Coates. It's always good to have you here. I know that you know Nikole Hannah-Jones very well, and I know you've been talking to her, and you don't want to betray any confidence, any confidential conversations that you've had. But I'm very curious about your reaction to the controversy.
Good morning, Gayle. I'm sorry I can't be in the studio with you guys.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait.
My reaction is that while on the one hand, this is clearly about Nicole, who is, to my mind, among, if not the most decorated journalist in our profession, and how she was treated down at UNC. But there is a much bigger debate that's going on here, and it is about what ideas our children, what ideas students at colleges will be exposed to or not. The 1619 Project has its detractors. It has its proponents. There's been a vigorous debate around it, as it should be. That's what we want in education. That's what we want in a free society. But when I see state legislatures, when I see United States senators, when I see the President of the United States directing critique at it via an executive order, when we see laws being passed, actual policy to ban the 1619 Project and ban critical race theory and other ideas that are deemed detrimental, I think we have a problem of a very, very different scale. We've moved beyond the realm of critique into the realm of actual policy, and I think that's a problem.
Yeah, let's talk about critical race theory, exactly what it means and the calls to ban it.
Yeah, so critical race theory is a framework for understanding American history and American life, and the basic premise of it starts from the idea that racism is endemic to this society. Now, you can agree with that or disagree with that. There are all sorts of, historical theories or theories that, can be applied, to the law, et cetera. But to ban it, I just really, really want to focus on that. It's not what your opinion of it is. The idea that it should be banned from teaching at all, or banned from discussion, or banned from education, or pushed out of the public square. I just, I think that's a huge problem. I think whatever your opinion of those ideas are, you should find that problematic. There are many notions and ideas in America that I totally and completely disagree with. I wouldn't ban them. There are a lot of people who I think are dead wrong. I wouldn't, move for schools and for universities to ban a discussion of those ideas. I just think that's a totally different level.
Ta-Nehisi, what do you believe the critics of the 1619 Project are worried about?
Well, I don't want to speak for the critics, because I think that I don't want to, get into a path where, I'm saying that it's wrong to criticize. I mean, I think the critics have and can speak for themselves. I think the people who are attempting to pass policy to banish it out of the public square are simply afraid of a fair and just accounting of American history. We're at a moment right now where people are pulling down statues and monuments and, et cetera, and we're having a much broader reconsideration of what the history of this country is. And there's some hard questions to be asked. Why is it that, for instance, in the state of Tennessee, there are more statues of Nathan Bedford Forrest, one of the founders of the Ku Klux Klan, than all 3 presidents born in Tennessee put together? How can that be true? What's going on? And so I think we're having this broader conversation right now that really scares a lot of people.
Thanks for joining us, Ashley here. So I just want to know, what do you hope that Americans will take away from this controversy?
I hope they will come to understand that no matter how discomforting an idea is, no matter how an idea makes you feel or whatever, when you see the state using policy to remove those notions from the public square, you've got a problem of a different order. Again, I just want to be really, really clear. You don't have to agree with Nicole. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with anybody. But when you see the President of the United States directing an executive order towards a journalistic project, you should be afraid. And I, as a journalist, it's the only thing that I can think that, it could easily be me. Any of us could be next when you see the state moving to ban those sorts of discussions.
Yeah, that was former President Trump you were speaking of. But I want to go back to Nikole Hannah-Jones, who at the time UNC called her one of the country's leading voices in journalism at the top of her field. Her supporters say, listen, her credentials are impeccable, so is her work ethic. So how does she go from that to now we're not sure about tenure? Which, by the way, UNC is saying we have not denied tenure. That is not what's happening here.
Well, I mean, no decision is effectively a denial. Nicole went through all of the many steps for tenure. The vote was, and this is according to the word of the Board of Trustees. It was brought before them, and they just declined to vote on it. So, I mean, I don't know how that's any better. I do want to say that, this morning we have a letter that we're delivering to UNC. And the signees, just give a broad range of how much support there is for open dialogue and open debate. We have everybody from Chris Paul to Cornel West to Amy Sherrill. There is a broad concern here that something has gone deeply wrong.
If this is the letter that's gone live on the route, it has. I mean, it looks like it has hundreds of signatures. And the line that strikes me here is that few single works have been threatened with more restrictions than the 1619 project.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've, certainly tried to make a career writing things that provoked conversation. I have never, ever written anything that drew the ire of 22 United States senators, that drew the ire of multiple attorneys generals, that drew the ire of the state of Texas, that drew the ire of Nicole's home state of Iowa. I think it's a different level.
I'm sorry, we're going to run out of time, but we're all watching. We thank you for your time this morning. We'll be right back.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.